Welcome to the Catchup. So moving into what the pod's really about, obviously the Lowland League. We'll start with the early kick-off Civil Service Strollers versus Gretna 2008 at Christy Gillis Park. There was nothing really too much in this. It was a 1-0 win for Civil Service Strollers. Craig Newell fired Strollers ahead after Cammy Muirhead rolled the ball across the face of goal, allowing Newell to fire it into the net. The major news for Civil is I didn't see a lot of transfer activity. They've got quite a big team, obviously, because of injuries and whatnot. But Josh Donaldson, on loan from Dundee United, he's had his spell extended, which is fantastic. Josh definitely one of the top keepers in the league. And for Gretna, I think they're I don't think there's been anything too much recently from that we've not already covered. A couple of guys on loan from Queen of the South, I think, but. Yeah, in terms of transfer news, I think the big one was for Civil was Josh Donaldson. I kind of expected Civil to win, but it sounded like a closer game, and we've obviously talked about Gretna maybe putting in decent performances, but not really getting the results, and I think it was another case of that at Christy Gillis Park.
Yeah, and to be fair, I was sceptical when Gretna changed gaffer in the way they did it with Round coming in, but I think it's only fair that I give credit where it's due. That a few months ago they play that game and get beat 3-4-0, go back down the road with their heads hung low. But there's been a clear improvement in their play, and obviously, even though they've still lost that game, they've given one of the better teams in the league a right run for their money at a home ground that they tend to be quite good at. So, in terms of Civil, yeah, they'll be delighted to keep Josh for the rest of the season, cracking keeper. And Dundee United, obviously, quite happy with his development, so it's good news all round. Civil, you think that their main battle is against Spartans now, as we go towards the final stages of the season, and results like this are the ones they need to get their noses in front and basically be the pride of Edinburgh this year, isn't it? So they'll be delighted. I kind of hesitate to say Gretna will feel alright because they get beat. They'll never be happy with a defeat, but there's positive signs there, and it looks like, touchwood for their sake, it looks like they might be cementing themselves in this league again come next season after it was looking a wee bit dodgy for a long time.
Yeah, I think that was the main factor last week is we can really praise performances, but they do, I think, another few wins would really sort of cement it. I think they're still in the relegation battle a wee bit, but they do need a couple more wins, I would say, and then that would be them settled, I think, going by the teams below them's results also.
Totally agree with you, but on the basis of what I've seen recently, I don't think there's any doubt that they will get some points on the board.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that they'll go ahead and keep their spot for next year. BSC playing host to Berwick Rangers in the penultimate game before the big cup tie that you might have heard about, possibly. So it was 4-1 to BSC, perfect prep for the game next weekend. It was actually Berwick that made the fast start though. They were kind of all action, running all over the pitch, putting their bodies in the line. They won a free kick in the edge of the box, right on the edge, 13 minutes on the clock, and Gary Windrum smashed it into the top corner, the opposite side of the wall. Brilliant strike. And at that point, you were just wondering if minds were elsewhere for BSC, but bounced back in just the perfect way. 26 minutes on the clock after some sustained pressure, and it was constant basically from Berwick's goal. Tamor broke the home deadlock, playing it across the goal for Martin Green to tap it home through Brennan, who didn't really have the best game. I think it's fair to say he was put under a lot of pressure, especially from cross balls, and I think he was struggling towards the end of it because it was relentless, basically. A minute after that goal, BSC took the lead. Jamie Hamilton is probably one of the goals of the season after his footage out there. Picks the ball up 30 yards out, not really any passes on. They just thought, you know what, just have a pop, and it just smashed it right into the top corner. It was an absolute beauty of a strike, helped by the fact that he did Derek Cantona celebration of not really doing much at all, just admiring it as it went in. And just a few minutes after that was 3-1. Jamie McCormack floating another ball into the back post, Martin Green nodding it in past Brennan again, and that was kind of it, to be honest, in terms of a contest. BSC controlled the game mainly into the second half, 20 minutes left to go. There was a fourth. Tamor managed to dispossess the defender right on the goal line. Turned in and from a really tight angle, smacked it into the top corner, the far top corner, past Brennan, who I might have been a wee bit harsh, to be fair, saying that he didn't have the best game because he was just constant under pressure, and he had one unbelievable save to stop it being 5. But again, it's great stuff for BSC. So it's kind of what I expected, to be honest, and I was just delighted to see that Mines didn't wander as they could easily have done to next weekend, and the job was done properly, well, professionally.
I've said it before, but it's really creepy how much Jamie Hamilton looks like my brother-in-law. Like, honest to God, he's they're the spit at each other. It's I see that graphic that Michael does, and I'm like, see my brother-in-law, I'm like, it's weird. Anyway, the news obviously for Berwick Rangers, obviously Kieran Bryan's leaving. He was highly rated, only 6 months at the club. He's won a full-time contract in Sweden. We'll know a wee bit more about which club he's going to when Kieran obviously signs and stuff. But comprehensive win for BSC Glasgow. Obviously, like exactly what you said, Muzza, just before the Scottish Cup game against Hibs. It's a fantastic result. The one takeaway for me, obviously, is Martin Green in amongst the goals. I mean, he's done really well the last sort of month or so, especially. I think what I heard, Swifty was giving Tamor some time off, and Green's really stepped up and done what he does best. Well done to Paulo.
Yeah, to be fair, he was coming back for injury around about a month ago, and he wasn't quite fully fit. You could see it. As he's got back up to speed, it's just vintage Paulo, basically. He's that kind of guy that he's all about his technique. He's a classy player. He's got a great touch. He's got a great mind as well for playing on his teammates. But it's nice to see him getting the goals for a change rather than him kind of laying it off, be it headers or little kind of cute flick throughs. He was just on another level at the weekend, to be honest, and he'll be vital in that Hibs game if we're going to get a goal.
So moving on to quite a surprising result in terms of the scoreline. One that I said that they really needed to pick themselves up at. Cumbernauld Colts, in terms of their pride, obviously beaten by Edinburgh Uni last week. They were at home at Broadwood Stadium against Vale Leven, and they won 7-1. Stephen O'Neill hat-trick, the new captain. Michael Cunningham, which was a late loan signing from Dundee that I spotted. He got a brace, so fantastic debut from him. Dean Ritchie with a goal, Marty Wright as well, so that's 7. For Vale Leven, it was Lyle Smith for their goal. I never saw that coming, but it was probably a result that Cumbernauld Colts needed, and certainly they've answered a few critics lately with that result, because that's a fantastic way to sort of get back on form. It's a result I think they've needed for a while because they haven't been that great. Obviously, Vale Leven looking the other way, Mozza, it's not looking great for them, but full credit to the Colts on that one. They've absolutely smashed it there. It
was a massive eye-opener, wasn't it? We were at the BSC game looking at the scores come in, and that was the one that was raising eyebrows because it was just quick fire, goal at the point that I don't think the Twitter feed could catch up for a little while. But as you say, it's a result that they've really badly needed, I feel like. And they've had a bit of a strange year this year, Cumbernauld Colts, in that they usually start quite strongly and begin to fade a wee bit, and I don't think they started that strongly this year. That they've just kind of been in and out. So maybe this is a kind of change where we'll see them strengthening up and getting the form again as we get into the final stages. It'll be an important thing for them if they're able to do that and get some consistency together. The other side, obviously, it's a really tough result for Vale and Ando. A really tough result. They need to find something and find it fast, ultimately, because we're getting into kind of scrap territory now, dogfight territory to preserve your space, and losing 7-1 away is not going to help morale in any way. So we'll see how they bounce back in the next fixtures, but it's a hell of a result regardless.
Yeah, and it's a good one because they have lost a few stalwarts. Craig Holmes moved on to Clyde Bank. Fraser Tima noticed is away to Peter Shields. So it is, it's. I don't think Craig Holmes certainly has been a standout. I did message him saying, hope all the best or whatever. And Fraser team, obviously, we've chatted to myself and Sean we want to wish the guys that have obviously left all the clubs, all the best wherever they end up. And we do try and keep sort of track of the guys as well and see how they're getting on.
Absolutely. And there's a chance they might wind their way back to our league again, so it makes sense to. But potentially on the face of it, 2 big losses there, but they've played probably their best game of the season. So we'll see how they keep going.
East Kilbride versus Gallagherradine Rovers at K Park. I did say that I felt that Gallagherradine would get a result here, and they did. They've been playing really, really well lately. Something we've credited them for. East Kilbride did take the lead early in the 8th minute. Malcolm plays the ball through to Healy, who slips the ball through the defender's leg, and Rory to give them the opener. It was a goal for Gala in the 26th minute. Berry puts a cross in the box and it deflects off Scullion and ends up in the goal. It was either, I think it was one of those again where Gala gave it to Berry and I think East Kilbride had it as an own goal. Half an hour gone, Gala nick the ball in the middle of the park and break through Xander Murray to take the lead. In the second half, East Kilbride did get the equaliser. Kieran Gibbons links up with Darryl Healy on the edge of the box for 2-2. I did notice, and I noticed Ching was like, you better delete that, mate, that Xander Murray did have a chance, admittedly, to win the game, but it's a decent point on the road for Gala, and there is issues at EK. They've lost, obviously, Graham Holmes has went to Edinburgh City. They've lost a few other players during this sort of window, if you will, and Gala, similar, they've lost the 2 boys that were on loan from Hibernian, and Ryan Mayer left as well. I did notice a signing. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't know if it's official yet, but he wasn't under as a trialist, but a midfielder that used to play for Gretna, let's put it that way.
If he wasn't named as a trialist, I'd say it's safe.
Okay, it's Unfa Karoma, I noticed, was on their bench during this game, so I'm assuming he's signed. Hopefully I'm not annoying anyone.
To be fair, if they've not named as a trialist, then
it's fair game. Yeah, well, he's on their wiki and on the FM database that I made fair. But yeah, Gala very impressive. East Kilbride, I think they're still trying to push. It's very difficult. They've had the season after being champions and running away the league. Obviously the disappointment of not being promoted to the SPFL, it's all affected them. I think players are not going to be staying on and stuff like that, as we've noticed, and it's a transition season and it's been a tough one for them so far.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to expect for EK now going into the final straight, because they put so much behind the cup game with BSC, and then obviously losing that, and then losing a lot of their squad at the end of the transfer window. Graham Holmes, obviously Alan Martin had moved on already, Craig Reid, like big names. So they're in a state of flux, and I think it doesn't help that their manager's not permanent either. They need to find a wee bit of stability, I think, and that's probably what this next couple of months is going to be about for Kilby, getting things sorted and preparing for next season, all the while still trying to put the results in the back of the increase our points tally, let's be honest. But yeah, it's the opposite of Gala. Gallagherradine are a team that know exactly who they are and what they do. And they've lost a couple of boys on loan, as we've mentioned there, but it doesn't change the way they play. They play a really nice style of football. They all don't know their jobs, they know their role. It's a really good squad environment from what we can tell as well. All the players seem really happy to be there. And looking back at the start of the season, it was roles reversed. We didn't know what Gala were going to be like at the start. We had a bit of fear about what might happen to Rovers, didn't we? So it's a funny little parallel, the way that the seasons have played out for either side, but there's good people at Kilby and they've got a really good kind of setting there to be a really successful club and move up the levels. So I hope that they can get things sorted and return to being a challenger again next year and going forward.
Yeah, I think from what I've heard, there might be an announcement on the manager soon. That's what I've gathered. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be Jim Patterson or not, but I do have an incline that they might make an announcement soon, and it's something that they really desperately need. I mean, I hope Jim gets it. Obviously, they'll be disappointed with the result against BSC in the Scottish Cup, but I don't think he's done that bad, considering all the, I don't want to say turmoil, but all the turnaround basically at EK this season.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a revolving door there. And I actually think Jim's done very well since he's been on. He's got a style of play he wants to play. The guys that were there seem to have bought into that. He's got discipline down. You saw what happened with Sean Winter with the cup game when he left and he got disciplined, and he's came back and he's bought in. So he's obviously got everything it takes to be a decent gaffer there, in my opinion. The question is, if it isn't him, who is it going to be? Because if they've got someone in mind that's not necessarily a big name, but somebody can really take them to the next level, go for it. If not, you've got a man there who's more than capable of doing it for you.
Moving on to East Stirlingshire versus Dalbeattie Star at Falkirk Stadium. It was another, we had a few of them, quite comprehensive results. East Stirlingshire beat Dalbeattie Star 6-1. 25 minutes in, Jamie Dishington finishes a lovely move by rounding the defender, then finishing to the far corner. It was a great assist by Ross McLaughlin, who's recently signed, I think he was former Celtic Pro Youth, so good to see him in amongst the assists there. 5 minutes before half time, it was another goal. It was Jamie Dishington again with a great finish from inside the box. Going into the second half, they kind of got off to a very quick start. Sean Brown made it 3-0. He's been in amongst the goals for Shire, and it's really working out well for them actually recently. Dalbeattie did get a goal back. It was from a corner. Ball bounces off Dalbeattie player into the path of their number 6, who finishes from 8 yards out. I didn't unfortunately work out who it was that got the Dalbeattie goal, but they did get a sort of consolation, if you will. Then Shire just sort of ran riot again. Nicky Lowe dances around the defence before rolling the ball past the keeper into the net to finish a great move, 4-1. 5-1 with Marty Orr finishing off a move that saw Jamie Dishington shot saved. Rogers hit the post and Marty Orr hit the back of the net with the rebound. And to complete the scoring and get the 6-1 result for East Stirlingshire, Adam Murray rises at the back post to head home a corner. 6-1 for Shire, and he scores his first goal for the club. He's when we saw him at the Kelty game that you were at as well, Derek, I think he was certainly a standout for myself, and I think they've been really pleased with Adam Murray recently.
Yeah, he seems to have hit a bit of a vein of form, hasn't he? As have the whole Shire team recently. It took them a wee bit of time to properly gel, I feel like, this year. There was a lot of squad upheaval, but especially in that Kelty game, I was very impressed with them. And they've kind of found their niche now. Like the squad, they've got a preferred 11 in mind. They know how they're going to play. They're quite comfortable with it. Sean Brown, as you've mentioned, is now established and he's scoring goals. And not only scoring goals, he's just a nuisance to any defence at this level. So, yeah, it's all positive for Shire, and you would have expected them to win that game, I think. But on the flip side, obviously, Dalbeattie will be a wee bit tender after it. I suspect whoever scored will be even more tender. You didn't even know who.
Well, it wasn't on web data, and I couldn't see much on Dalbeattie's Twitter.
It could be a trialist, right enough, if it's not shown up on the usual platforms. But we'll get corrected, I'm sure. Somebody will let us know who it was, and we'll give them their dues. But yes, Shire are obviously going to be top 4. The question is how far up in that top 4 they can get now. Dalbeattie will just be happy with not being bottom when it comes down to it. So we'll see. Obviously, we'll give a wee bit more focus as the weeks go on now to the bottom of the table and how things are playing out. But what do you reckon? Do you think Dalbeattie's in a wee bit of danger there, or do you think they've got enough to stay clear of it?
I mean, I get on well with Dalbeattie and the players there. They're a great bunch of lads, but I think they do need, similar to Gretna, I think they're in a similar position. I think we've discussed this, I think Gretna have it in them. I'm not sure about Dalbeattie at the moment. They've kind of went a wee bit backward, but if we look at last season, they did pull off some really decent results at the end of the season. I know Whitehill were where they were, but they did pull off some, decent results against the bigger teams. I think Spartans and Kelty, if I remember. And Kelty are going down to Islecroft next week, and they did play well against Bonnyrigg Rose. So I might be wrong, but I think they have a result in them, but maybe not as confident as with the likes of Gretna. I think the ones to really worry about, as I've said, most of the season's Edinburgh Uni and Baylor leaving. I think they'll be a wee bit dependent on that. Them obviously not picking up the wins to catch up with them.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Totally agree.
But just on Shire, obviously the sort of news that Bobby Barr leaving. I don't think he impressed that much in the league, and I do rate him as a player. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think he lit it up, and I don't think it's a major loss to East Stirlingshire. And I'm sure I'll get some pelters if there's people that disagree, but I think that is the sort of opinion. I don't think he was a massive loss.
Yeah, I don't think it really played out the way they thought it would play out with Bobby. So you're right in that front that he's not had as big of an impact as we might have thought, especially with his pedigree. It's interesting he's gone to Forfar with Stuart Malcolm. It's very interesting. Because obviously there's a man that knows him for the league and knows how to use him, but I don't think it'll really affect Shire too much like yourself. That they've got plenty of players there and they've got plenty of prowess with crossballs and set pieces anyway, that I don't think they'll miss him too much.
At the start of the season, I think a lot of play was going through him, and then it sort of moved to Jamie Dishington and then Nicky Lowe. So yeah, he's obviously, as I mentioned, I do rate Bobby Barr, but I just don't think I don't think it really happened for him at Shire as much as some of the other names that have came down. For example, like the guys at Kelty and maybe like Danny Galbraith, who's been so influential for Gallifreydine, Ewan Smith for Berwick. I mean, the times I saw Shire, I've seen them a few times, and he certainly wasn't the standout that I would have expected him to be.
Yeah, I agree with you on that front. I think that there's other players in that Shire team that have been much more influential than he has over the first kind of half of this season, and they'll be fine going forward.
We do have an interview with Del Ur on the win there.
Must be the happiest you've been at 5 o'clock on a Saturday for quite a while.
Look, I think that the day we applied ourselves in the second half well. We asked them at half time to go and play with more of a tempo. I just felt first half, as well as large parts of games this season, we had a lot of the ball, but we didn't move it quick enough at times. And when we move it like what we do in the second half, it's sharp, teams struggle when we get the ball moving it quickly. That's what we're ultimately wanting them to do. And sometimes I think we can be a wee bit slack in that department. First half I thought we were a wee bit slack as well. And we're looking at people to take a bit of responsibility. And a lot of the time it's Nicky or Dish. You look at the day, Dish has got the ball for first 2 goals and just drove. We need that for more people more often. There's a lot of people done well today, but it was good second half performance especially.
Dish was looking really dangerous for the full 90 minutes, as you say, just running at people. Is that what you've asked him to do?
Look, Dish is a top player. He's got a lot of great attributes and somebody that I'm delighted we brought to the club, because I think since he's came in he showed to everybody how good he can be. Challenge for Dish now is to just go and show everybody once again and keep on going, because racking yourself up a good goal tally, it'd be good to see where he can get to at the end of the season. Dish is a fantastic player.
Looked really dangerous up both wings. Obviously Willie Dyer getting a start, been a long time coming. How do you feel that's been?
It's been a bit it's frustrating for me as it has been for Willie this season, because Willie's quality on the ball is exceptional. You didn't play at the level Willie's played at if you're not a good football player. It's been very difficult for him with injury, etc. So to get Willie back involved gives you something different on the ball at left back. But then we moved Adam into the middle of defence, and just once again Adam excels. He's a joy to have.
Adam's now in 101 games and 1 goal.
I'm surprised about the 1 goal, to be fair. Look, Adam's somebody that I admire so much. He he gives you nothing short of 100% every single training session, every single game. I could ask Adam to go and play centre forward and he would do it. He would go and play wherever he's asked. And for a long part of Adam Shire's career, he's played as a left back, and he's not a left back. But that's testament to the boy that he just goes and does the best that he can possibly do. And I can't praise him highly enough.
You happy with the way that you've set the team up today? Jamie Dishington sitting that wee bit deeper.
I think that we just know that Dish has got that wee bit of quality, he's got that bit of energy, he's excelled there when he's played there. He played there with Spartans as well. But we want to see Dish going forward as well. There's no two ways about it. We get a lot of him when he drives forward, because it can be a driving force. Just with the personnel that you've got available in certain games, you've got to ask people to do slightly different jobs. We asked Adam to go and play centre half a day. We asked Wally to go and play left back, PMAC to go and play left mid. PMAC's been playing central midfield, which isn't a position that PMAC's favoured, I would say. PMAC's better getting 1v1 at people, and as good as PMAC's done out wide, centrally, you see him the days. PMAC's great quality in the areas, and that's where we've just got to change things up a wee bit.
There was concern for Shire fans midweek about the amount of players that we've lost in the past 7 days or so, but it seems to have not been any issue at all. We just bounced from it.
Look, these things happen in football. We're in a position where we've got a lot of good players at this club, and for us, Bobby, Gal, Matty have all moved on to pastures new. They're great players who have done very well for this club. I wish them all the very, very best, but where we're at is sometimes it's business decision, sometimes a football decision. We wouldn't let anybody go out that door if we weren't happy overall. I'd have liked to have kept one or two of them, but circumstances prevail, and we're going to be building for next year. That's where we'll be looking at now. Got 7 or 8 games left this season before we go into the League Cup. We've got to think outside the box sometimes.
We also want to thank Shire TV for that interview. We'll move on to Edinburgh University versus Spartans. It was another comprehensive win. I've probably said that word a few times at East Peffermill. It really was. Spartans just dominating, really. 5 minutes in, it was a goal for Spartans. Long ball from Carswell, and Atkinson fires home from 18 yards. 16 minutes in, Maxwell puts the goalkeeper the wrong way from the spot after Atkinson is brought down. They reckoned it might have been their first penalty of the season. I don't recall seeing too many Spartans penalties, so they might be right on that front. Surprising stat, to be honest, really. 28 minutes gone, Aaron Scott's through ball is missed by the Uni defender, and Jack Smith tucks home for 3-0. Uni did pull one back before half time. It was a missed long ball, and Baird finishes well. Going into the second half, it was another goal from Spartans. Great Aaron Scott corner, and Maxwell flicks at the near post. It was a straight red for Edinburgh Uni. McFarlane tackle on Maxwell. Apparently it was very harsh, even by Spartans' own admission, so I'm guessing it was a harsh one. Uni did get another goal. It was Uni on the break. Great finish from Baird again for his brace. And just to round it off for 5-2, 67th minute, it was a corner cleared to Woods. The shot is deflected in by Smith for his brace. Also comprehensive by Spartans, really on the up, as we've mentioned. They've really sort of, I wouldn't say got their act together, but they're certainly firing now. And Jack Smith obviously is another one. We talked about Martin Green, but obviously he's had injury issues the last few seasons, and he's back and scoring goals, and it's helped him out in a big way.
I'm delighted to see Jack back and scoring goals, as you say, because he's a great wee striker, and he has had his issues not just the last few years. Constantly he's had his issues here and there with injuries. So delighted to see him back, and I know he put a wee tweet out quite happy that he's found himself on the score sheet. So Also, we need to send our best wishes out to Mark Waters as well. It was mentioned that he got quite a bad concussion after bumping into aforementioned Jack Smith. So hopefully he has a kind of nice steady recovery, because concussions, you just can't predict what they're going to be like by their nature. But yeah, Spartans will be happy. They might not be too chuffed at the fact that they've been essentially beat by 2 simple balls through for Edinburgh's goals. But in the grand scheme of things, they've won. They've got a 3-goal winning margin. They're playing pretty well. They're scoring goals. I think that'll be enough for them, and they've got plenty still to work on as we go forward. Edinburgh Uni wouldn't have expected to win that, I suspect, but they need to start finding points. It's the same story for these teams at the wrong end of the table.
Yeah, obviously, to repeat your sentiments, obviously with Mark Waters, he's one of the Edinburgh Uni players that have impressed me over the last sort of couple of seasons of covering the league. I think he will be missed. I think he's going to be out for about 3 weeks from what I've heard. So obviously Ross Waters, different guy. They're not related, different spelling, so not to be confused with him. But Baird, obviously, he's scoring a lot of the Edinburgh Uni's goals, so I'm assuming a lot of plays going through him. But yeah, they desperately need wins now. I think it's a case of between them and Vale leaving, in my mind, like it has been most of the season.
And the fact they've got a goal scorer there is a really good thing for them. Like, if they can keep feeding them, they're going to get goals. One of Vale's issues is I don't think they've got an out-and-out, this is our guy who's going to score goals for us. So it's something that Edinburgh Uni will look at and think, right, we've got a shot here. We've got a right good chance. We just need to get the right team in the right day, and who knows, 3 points can make all the difference. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out, especially when they're playing the teams in and around them as well. That'll be the key.
Moving on to Kelty Hearts versus Caledonian Braves at New Central Park. Was at this game, I was nice meeting Roy Campbell, who does a lot of the media work, obviously, has helped us out a great deal, and Cali Braves as well. 10 minutes in, Matty Flynn hits a volley. Looks like it's in, but Marshall makes a brilliant save as it comes off the underside of the bar. It did look like it was going in, but he got the slightest of touches to put it onto the bar and come out again. It was a fantastic save from Marshall. 26 minutes in, Kelty did take the lead. It was a fantastic hit by Nathan Austin to get the opener. That was pretty much it for the first half. Going into the second half, Kelty did sort of take charge. Cammy Russell came on, and for me, again, I've said it before, but I think he did change the game. He added a wee bit of energy that I think sometimes Kelty are missing sometimes. 64th minute, brilliant ball in from Cammy Russell to find Nathan Austin, who heads in his and Kelty's second. 73rd minute, it was another goal for Kelty. Dylan Easton's shot takes a deflection and goes into the bottom corner. Marshall had no chance with that one. 75 minutes, it was a Nathan Austin hat-trick. Hashtag feed the Fash as it goes. Great ball over the top. Marshall runs out, but Fash chips it over. Pretty comprehensive. Goal for Cali Braves on the 84th, just a consolation. Serge Makovo, the scorer. It was a weird one. I did say it on Twitter. I was kind of, I've been pretty critical with the Braves from their highlights. They did impress me yesterday, especially Jack Breslin coming back. I thought he was quite solid. Obviously, he's not to full fitness. He did go off during the game, but he's been about the Braves for like most of the season. But I think this is his first Lowland game. I think he did play in one of the cups or something last week, but. He was impressive. They were very solid. It was just when you're coming up against Nathan Austin, who's as clinical as he is, and as I mentioned, Cammy Russell, I think, changed the game a wee bit, added a wee bit more service to Nathan Austin. But yeah, for me, it wasn't a 4-1. We will hear from Ricky Waddle and Roy Campbell, as I mentioned.
Yeah, if it was a 4-1 defeat, but I think we'll both agree it wasn't a 4-1 game. I think we were in it for the first hour, and then for a spell of 5 minutes where a couple of the goals came in.
Yeah, it's hard to say it was a 4-1 game. I agree with that, but at the end of that is a score. But I didn't think they really merited it in terms of chances. I thought our game plan worked really well. I felt we didn't create as much as I would have liked, but we had a sniff. Roscoe got in the first half. through more their mistake. And Craig Quinn had a really good chance, so he hits the target, good save from their goalkeeper. So we've got to make those scenarios count, those situations count. I'm disappointed for the guys, but I told them in there at half time that full time rather, that we need to be so much more aggressive and angry. So maybe that's no in them, that's something I need to look at. Whether I need to bring in that type of player who's going to be aggressive and just, I'm not saying hurt anybody, but make tackles. I thought Jack Breslin was excellent, and again really happy for him. Obviously really tired and got cramp at the end, and obviously make the change didn't help matters either. So for me, no, it wasn't 4-1, but at the end of the day that was the score.
Yeah, I was going to mention, single about it, I thought Jack Breslin was outstanding today. I thought he added a lot to the back line, and you can see if that back line regroups and goes together, that could be a strong back four. Yeah,
when I'm on about aggression and nastiness, then Jack's a cracking boy for a start, but he has that. You can see he's got a bite about them. I think they lack a bit of bite, and we've got good players in there, and I support them 100%, and they're there to be getting better and developed and all that. But for me, we've got to come to these places, and I don't think we've never done it, but and show a real heart, desire, hunger and aggression, because you've got to match that. I don't think we've really done it as much as I would like, maybe no in us. We had a lot of the ball, we passed and moved really, really well without creating masses of chances.
You can see from the past two games, the two results, we've conceded a lot of goals, but I thought Marsh again was excellent, maybe hard done by the scoreline. Made a couple of great saves, half he's denied a fantastic goal with a great goal.
I think we agree that's a bit hard on us, but that's what it is, so we need to look at that and say, right, okay, how can we move for that? So we're in a wee moment, Roy, that we're thinking, right, okay, that's a few games in a row, okay, what about you, what are you going to do about it, what's your character? And there's no panic, none of that. It's about keeping together and making sure everybody from the non-playing staff to the playing staff is we're working hard, keeping improving. But we've got to look at the areas where we're losing the goals, and I think it does come down to personnel. I think the guys all have good qualities out there, and that's absolutely no threat. But we do need to add that bit of aggression to our team. So we've got to wait till next year for that right player to come in, we've got to do that. I don't know if there's anybody in the market at the moment that can give us that really. But that's where we've got to look at the progression of our team. We went toe to toe with Kelty, excellent side for the majority of the game. Got to take the positives for that. Got to move on, but we do need to recognise our weaknesses.
Cheers.
We obviously want to thank the guys there, but comprehensive from Kelty Hearts, but not really a strange 4-1, I would say.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had quite an in-depth chat about Cali when I was on the Talking Lower League podcast, and I think it says it all that guys further up the ladder have taken notice, not just on the park but off the park, of what Cali are doing, and that goes, it's great credit to those guys. Roy and the guys there, but it's not just the off the park stuff that people are noticing. They're beginning to keep an eye on the team, and they've got, see, when you look at their squad, they've got a really solid base to work with there. You've mentioned Jack Breslin just coming back now. They've got guys like McNeil up front, who's just always liable to find a goal from somewhere, and obviously John Guy, who's out injured, but he'll be back for next season. So they've got all the building blocks here to push up the table and become one of the bigger sides. And that's obviously the long-term aim for them. So it's good to hear that they've put a good account of themselves on against Kelty. Ultimately, Kelty are in the position they're in for a reason, and they've run out winners by being clinical, as you've said. But Cali's a team that I could see kind of taking another step forward next year, so we'll see if that affects things in the run-in, because these are players that will now be playing for their futures, given that the likelihood is that they'll be strengthened next year as well in the playing staff. So yeah, ultimately Kelty do what they need to do, and they keep marching on pretty relentlessly, and off to Islecroft to go.
Yeah, and just one further note has to be mentioned. I was really impressed with Davy Winters. He was all about the park. I don't think Cali Braves really created a lot. He must have had a free roll from Ricky there, but very impressive for Davy Winters there.
I won't say who told me, but somebody said to me a few weeks ago that Davy runs more now than he used to in his 20s. So I'll leave it at that, and I'm sure we'll hear from him what his thoughts are on that comment.
On to the last game, University of Stirling versus Bonnyrigg Rose at Forthbank Stadium. It was the game of the week, the catch-up game of the week. I guess I forgot the last sort of few weeks or something. It did make a comeback, and this was a fixture kind of highlighted, I think, by yourself on the lower league pod that you were on, and Sean last week as well. So. And University of Stirling were unbeaten in their last three at Forthbank, and Bonnyrigg obviously still undefeated away from home. One thing I never actually mentioned, but there was a rainbow spotted in the civil service game, and then there was a rainbow spotted in the University of Stirling Bonnyrigg Rose game. So rainbows are a theme this week.
If only there was a pot of gold at the end of it for the clubs.
Yeah. Bonnyrigg took the lead in 6 minutes. It was a lovely cross from Scott Gray onto the head of Kieran McGackie to score. 52 minutes played, a couple of lost causes chased down by Brett, and then Hunter picks the ball up, crosses the ball to McGackie for his second, and Bonnyrigg sealed it in the 77th minute. Ross Gray manages to get a foot in before the defender, diverting the ball into the path of Turner, who makes no mistake. 3-0 Bonnyrigg Rose. Fantastic win, really, away from home. Kind of something I think Sean was more expecting Uni to get a result here, but I was, I'm kind of firmly with Rose most weeks, similar to Kelly, BSC and whatnot. So yeah, nothing really eye-opening for myself.
Yeah, it's a result that I kind of expected. I didn't necessarily expect 3 goals to be the difference, because I thought Uni would give them a right good game, and it goes, again, Rose are doing what they need to do. It's Rose and Kelty that are leading the way just now. We've talked already about the effect that the amount of games is going to have as we get towards the end. And BSC, you kind of still need to throw BSC into the chat, but I think we'd focus more on the top 2 now in terms of the challenge for the league. It'll all come down to how BSC react after the cup game coming up, because then they're even in like a more difficult position in Bonnyrigg in terms of games to make back up. But yeah, Rose they're in great form, and they're a danger to any team with the strikers they've got. Like McGahey doing the business this week. You've got Hunter, you've got Turner chipping in. They're a cracking team going forward, and they're really solid at the back. So they've got most boxes ticked when it comes to what you need. And if they can keep the energy levels up, especially as the games are beginning to pile up, then they've got every chance at Pip and Kelty. We'll wait and see how it plays out, but I can't just be me. I just can't wait for the two of them to face off now.
Yeah, end of the month, mate. Well, the first game anyway.
3-0 loss to Bonnyrigg today. It was always going to be a tough afternoon, wasn't it?
Yep. They're a top side, one of the best, maybe if not the best team in the league, and they did a professional job. A few fortunate goals at the second and third one, but they deserved the win.
And after 10 minutes, looked like it could have been a long afternoon, but
yeah,
the boys came back.
They always start well. Got a lot of ex-seniors and boys who could still play that level, and they put you under pressure straight away. And they had a lot of corners today, and for the size of their players, to only concede 1 from corners, we've done pretty well actually. So, but yeah, slow start.
Yeah, and Stirling had a lot of the ball, but just couldn't really threaten.
Yeah, rest of the first half we did. We had a lot of the ball. Didn't really create much because they're a solid team, and obviously we made the decision today to rest some players because we've got this big game on Wednesday, and play a bit more conservative today, try and save legs and stuff. And it obviously didn't work, but it would have been a tough game no matter who we played today for us, because Bonnyrigg are such a talented team.
And as you mentioned, got a big game coming up on Wednesday in Bucks.
Yeah, so obviously we go to Nottingham where if we win the league, and Stirling Uni's not been in that position for a long time, so now we'll go down there confident. It'll be a tough game, but Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
And just on another note, in the news this week, Blair Lyons is signing for Partick Thistle, former player at Stirling. You're delighted for him.
Yeah, really happy for the boy. He worked really hard. He's a talented player, and I think he scored two before half time today as well. And he actually played for us 2 weeks ago. That's how good a lad he is. That he signed for Partick Thistle 5 days later, and he was still helping us out in the Uni League, so which he was allowed to do. And good luck to him. And obviously we've got other boys out playing as well, so good for them.
Cheers, Chris. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks.
Obviously want to thank Stirling Uni for that interview there. He did mention, obviously, Stirling Uni have a big week coming up on Wednesday. They're going to Nottingham midweek, where they can win the league in the Bucks. So we obviously want to wish them all the best, and hopefully they can do it. It's a fantastic achievement from Stirling Uni if they get that done.
Absolutely. And given that you might have seen on Twitter, folks, that people were giving a wee bit of stick to uni teams as part of the whole kind of pyramid chat that was going around. Bear in mind that Stirling Uni team, not only are they competing at this level and really playing really well this year, they're also potentially going to be the best uni in Bucks. So you've just got to give them massive amounts of credit for the amount of football they're playing, and they're still churning out what they need to churn out. And I've got no doubt that they'll go and get a couple more wins on the board in the Lowland before the league's said and done as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned that the last couple of pods. I think like two weeks ago, I think it was Stirling Uni that were kind of in for it, and then last week Edinburgh Uni. But you've got to respect these guys. I mean, they play 50, almost double the games that other teams do, and they're still competing. I know Edinburgh Uni are kind of struggling at the moment, in terms of the team that they've got, but they've held their own in the Lowland League, and that's the point. That's the main thing.
It's not just that. The difficulty they've got is you can only work with what you've got. You can't magic up players out of nowhere. They've got to have some sort of link to the uni the way they work. So obviously with Stirling, we've seen a couple of guys come in that may not still be active students, but they've got a link to the university in some way. But you can't just go and pick out. We'll see more and more clubs we mentioned earlier, the likes of Danny Galbraith, likes we talked about Bobby Barrett, East Stirlingshire. Kelty's obviously get a lot of experience, boys as the BSC, Bonnyrigg. Can he do that at the uni teams? So it makes it all the more remarkable, the jobs that they've done, I feel like. And if this is the year that Edinburgh Uni go down, you can guarantee they'll be going down fighting. That's their style. But they've still got every chance of staying up. It was looking a wee bit dodgy for Stirling early doors, but they've came through and they've played their game. They've not gone away for their ideals and what they set up to do, which you need to give them a lot of credit for as well. So I don't think there's a debate to be had that they're a positive thing for this league, and they have been ever since the start of it.
Right, moving on to next week's fixtures. A Friday night game to start off, Cumbernauld Colts versus Spartans at Broadwood Stadium. The kickoff is 7:45. I'm not going to jinx Spartans, and I'll let you pick the result for that one, Muzza.
I'm going to sit on the fence. I'm going to stick with a score draw. I think just because two teams there that have come off pretty decent results, Colts will have their tails right up. I feel like I would have maybe gone with Spartans before the weekend. So yeah, I'll go with the score draw.
Moving on to Saturday's fixtures, Berwick Rangers versus East Stirlingshire at Shielfield Park. I think the way Shire are going, I think Shire will be the favourites, and I think they'll probably get an away win there.
This is a game that if you did listen to that other podcast, I thought had already happened. Because in my notes I mistakenly put East Kilbride and changed Kilbride to East Stirlingshire. So now that it's actually happening, I'm going to predict exactly what I said had already happened, a 3-0 win for East Stirlingshire.
Bonnyrigg Rose versus Gallifreydine Rovers at New Dundas Park. Tell you what, Gala have been fantastic lately, as have Bonnyrigg Rose. I still hesitate to put a favourite other than the likes of Bonnyrigg Rose when they come up.
Yeah, narrow home win, I think. We'll probably both go for that, would you think?
Yeah, I would say so. Dalbeattie Star versus Kelty Hearts at Islecroft. It's another tough one. I mean, Dalbeattie did do well against Bonnyrigg at home. I think if they sit in, they could probably cause some problems for Kelty. But given the result at the weekend there, I think Kelty will feel a wee bit more confident. But Islecroft never easy to go down to by. What is it called? The Camel Trek? It's a lot of people.
The Camel Trek, indeed.
Yeah, so it's never an easy place to go with the travel, and I don't think players enjoy it too much. So I think it'll be a win for Kelly, but I think it might be another tight one.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
Caledonian Braves versus Civil Service Strollers at Alliance Park. I don't know. I don't have a favourite for that. Seen Cali Braves recently. I was quite impressed with them. I just think they were a wee bit unlucky in terms of, as I mentioned, they didn't create a lot, but obviously Nathan Austin, clinical. I don't think Civil Service have that sort of player that's as clinical. Their goals tend to come from different guys like Josh Morris, Cammy Muirhead, sometimes from the midfield, and they don't tend to score loads. Actually, if you look at the goal differences this season, I think Civil Service Strollers are kind of on par with Spartans. It's quite creepy, actually. But for that, I think probably a draw or Civil if I was gambling.
Yeah, I can't call that. And games like this are the reason I'm not a gambler. So, no, I'll be very intrigued to see who comes out on top.
Gretna 2008 versus Edinburgh Uni at Raydale Park. But I tell you what, if Edinburgh Uni can get the win there, that will be a massive for them. I think both these teams, it's another old-fashioned six-pointer. If Gretna win, I think they're out of it. If Edinburgh Uni win, they've given themselves a fantastic chance to stay in the league this season.
I think this is almost game of the week.
Yep.
I'm not sure if it will be, but it's right up there. Because this is where the stakes are getting right up, raised up kind of high. I would expect Gretna to take the points, but if they don't, it opens the door to all sorts of things happening. So, yeah, I think I would predict a narrow Gretna win there.
On to Sunday's games, there's two. There's one for the Lowland League, University of Stirling versus East Kilbride at 3 o'clock at Forthbank Stadium. Tough one to call. We've mentioned obviously East Kilbride have kind of struggled a wee bit this season. There's been a lot of turnover, and University of Stirling, they have. It depends how Wednesday goes, I think, for them. I don't tend to say a lot about the uni football. I did promise Chris that I would learn a wee bit more about uni football, but I think if they win on Wednesday, I'm not sure how much of a hangover it will have in terms of. I know Chris will probably have the boys straight onto the Lowland League, but I think if they win it or lose it, it could affect them either way, I think, against East Kilbride. And East Kilbride, they have still had results. They've not probably had the best of results lately, but they have still been picking up points. So it's a tough one. I'll go for a draw on that one, I think.
I was wondering where you were going with hangovers there when we were talking about students, to be honest. But yeah, it's a really tough one to call. That really tough one to call. Two teams that play decent football. Yeah, I'm struggling to pick a winner there again. Potentially, depending on what happens with the game we're about to talk about, we could actually make that game after it as well, possibly. But we'll see how it goes. I think I'd sit on the fence again and go for a draw there. It's too hard to go one way or the other for me.
So what was this game you were talking about next?
There happens to be the small matter of a Scottish Cup game on Sunday at 12 as well. If you can't make it to the game that is going to sell out, there's a bit of expected news, but as of yesterday, it's pretty much guaranteed to be a sellout. BSE at home to Hibernian. You can watch on BBC Scotland. It's BBC Scotland channel, I believe that it's on. Yeah, I don't really need to describe this game, do I? It speaks for itself. It's a fantastic occasion for us. We don't go in expecting anything. Nobody expects us to do anything. If we get a draw by some minor miracle, it'll be even better for us to get a replay. I'm not even going to talk about what would happen if we won in the 1% chance, because I might not make it work the next week. Who knows? But I'll just be delighted for the fact that we are going to have 1,000 people supporting BSC in a game. Is just mind-blowing to me. It's brilliant. And hopefully, no matter what the scoreline is, if we can encourage a portion of them to come back and be regulars, it'll be a success regardless of what happens.
Not to be negative on it, obviously you've had your say, but there was some ticketing things that people brought up. You have had your say on it, but I think any other Lowland League team in that situation, and I know these ticketing prices are agreed with the other team as well, so you can't firmly blame BSC Glasgow, but at the end of the day, I mean, when does this happen really? For Lowland League teams, it's very rare. I think they have to take the opportunity to get a bit of funds for them, and it's an event really, you know what I mean? So you are willing to pay a wee bit more to see something that's a bit of a rarity, I would say.
Obviously, 20 quid for an adult to go to a Lowland League game would be daylight robbery. But it isn't a Lowland game. It's the biggest game we've ever played, and it might be the only time as a club in my lifetime we ever get to this stage of the Scottish Cup. So it's a truly unique event. And I don't think 20 quid and 10 quid... Obviously, the stand was a couple of quid extra, but the stand sold out in jig time. I don't think it's overly bad. And most of the comments... Almost all of the comments I got about it were either from Hibs fans or Alloa fans, interestingly. Hibs fans obviously kind of fancied a wee cheaper day out, I'm guessing. But Alloa fans, I guess it's probably because they quite fancied come along to their home ground to see an event. And I can get that from a neutral's point of view. I can get that it seems a wee bit steep, but we are going to sell out. And I think they priced it right together with Hibs. I don't think either club deserves any blame, to be honest, because you look at the other games in the round, obviously Clyde Celtic's the same prices. The Falkirk game against Hearts is a wee bit cheaper, but they've got a scheme to try and sell it out, so they've reduced the prices a wee bit. So it's 15 quid an adult at Falkirk, which is brilliant, by the way, so really need to give props to them for that pricing. But for the round and for the game, it's not wildly different. It's pretty bang on from precedent. I can't actually remember what East Kilbride charged for the Celtic game, in all honesty. But again, that was a bigger stadium with more seats. If this had been at Easter Road, the chances are it might have been cheaper price. There's only 3,000 people can get into the end of the row, so it's also priced up to reflect that as well. And I'm more than comfortable with the approach the club's taken in terms of the pricing structure. I don't have any complaints or any arguments about it.
Right, moving on to plugs, mate. I'll let you go first as always.
At Moza Plays on Twitter, and you'll find me anywhere else through that. Nice and simple. Obviously the podcast, at Official Catchup as well. And for your good self, Chris?
It's at Rampant FM, and on Facebook it's at Lowland League Catchup. I've tried to keep up to sort of date with Facebook, but we're probably more active on Twitter, just because I don't really like Facebook.
Exactly the same. But I think that's the way of things now, isn't it? There's less and less folk using the Facebook now. So, by the way,
I have noticed there has been a sort of increased interaction with the Facebook. Obviously, I've been trying to put out similar stuff on Twitter, but not so much over the weekend, but but a couple of weeks before that. So we'll try our best, but yeah, I'm more of a Twitter person.
Don't worry, Facebook folk, we'll get Sean on it.
So next week there probably won't be a pod, because obviously we'll be at the BSC Glasgow versus Hibernian game. We will try and maybe organise something in terms of I think there's a few junior guys that have decided, that they've said that they would like to come on and maybe chat, hear their side. I think it's a good idea.
Definitely.
Apart from that, guys, we obviously appreciate the support. We appreciate the gaffers that listen, the players, the fans, everyone that's involved in the Lowland League, George Fraser for his support. And there is a lot to be said about the likes of East of Scotland, obviously more on the pyramid and different things. So we tend to do, from last season, I think we started changing things up a wee bit, Moza, didn't we? Because obviously we're getting closer to the end of the season, and there's a lot more to discuss.
Aye, it was kind of around about February, March that we started looking at the potential games that could influence who was coming up and down, wasn't it? So no doubt we'll do the same again this year, but also for anyone that's listening, tell us what you want to hear. Ultimately, we're quite happy to feature whatever. But yeah, we'll obviously delve a wee bit more into the title race in East of Scotland, given that it's going to have an impact in our league going forward. We're going to get somebody up, so we want to know who it is. And we'll look at the top end as well for League 2 for potentially who's coming down. I say potentially because I'm 99% certain again that they will get relegated. but I don't want to put my neck in the line just yet, just in case. So, like, it could be Brechin or Steny or Albion Rovers, I think, were the three that I'd picked out this week. So, could be another Lowland member, it could be a Highland League member. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I did notice, having done all the transfers for the Football Manager update, Brechin have strengthened a fair bit as well, and some of the other teams, Albion Rovers and Stenhousemuir as well. So,
well, just to round things off then, just as a wee kind of bit of fun and games, if you had to pick today who was going to finish bottom of League Two, who would it be? I'm going Stenhousemuir.
I mean that would be very interesting for the Lowland League next season. Stenhousemuir versus East Stirlingshire.
Well, it's a bit of a derby if it happens. So, you having a pick, or are you just letting me sit on my own?
I think Albion Rovers for some reason. I think Brechin have strengthened a fair bit from what I gathered with looking for their transfers. I have a feeling Albion Rovers, but again, I think Steny's a brilliant choice as well, mate. And that would be something added to the Lowland League.
And as with Albion Rovers, because East Kilbride have got a bit of local rivalry, as will BSC when we move back through. So, two sides, it would be an addition to this league.
I've noticed the chat's kind of withered away a wee bit from the likes of Kelty and Bonnie Rose. I think they still fancy their chances at the title, but the Highland League, we can't underestimate them, and obviously if we get to the playoff, we've mentioned obviously the bottom teams of League 2 have strengthened as well. Interesting few months, mate. Interesting few months.
It's an exciting time of year. I love it.
On that note, we'll end, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Catch you later.